Bom dia a todos, sejam muito bem-vindos ao nosso webinar IFAT Munique 2026, Inovações e Oportunidades na Gestão de Resíduos e Reciclagem. Meu nome é Ana Beatriz Neitzel, eu sou coordenadora de entrada de mercado e delegações na Câmara de Comércio e Indústria Brasil Alemanha do Rio de Janeiro e terei o prazer de moderar este encontro. Este webinar faz parte da missão empresarial à Feira IFAT Munique, que é coordenada pela German Tech Partnership, com apoio da Câmara de Comércio e Indústria Brasil-Alemanha e fomentado pelo Ministério Federal Alemão de Assuntos Econômicos e Energia. O objetivo do nosso webinar hoje é apresentar um panorama do mercado alemão de resíduos sólidos e reciclagem, além de compartilhar com vocês o programa detalhado da missão. Eu informo também que este webinar acontecerá em português e inglês, e fiquem à vontade para enviar perguntas ao longo da apresentação, porque teremos um momento dedicado às perguntas ao final da sessão. So now I'm gonna switch to English, because to begin our content, I would like to invite Beatriz Stecker, Head of International Affairs and Project Engineer at the German Tech Partnership, who will present an overview of the German waste management and recycling market, as well as the detailed program of the business delegation to IFAT Munich. Beatriz, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Also, bom dia, and my Portuguese is basically not existing, even if I traveled quite some time to Brazil yet. But yeah, if there are any questions, maybe you can just add it to the chat and the others can do some translation. And I'm just about to share my screen. Yeah, so RETEC is basically the export network for circular economy solutions made in Germany. And yeah, we are inviting you to come to Germany at the time of the IFAT in Munich. And yeah, if you think about Germany, I just put up some pictures, how you probably recognize Germany. I mean, we have quite some cities, big ones. The biggest is in Berlin, not as big as Sao Paulo or Rio, but we have almost 4 million people living here. But we have also a lot of rural landscapes. We have industrial parks, commercial areas. Of course, we are famous for our automotive industry, and we also have quite some old towns. Yeah, and therefore we have a lot of diverse infrastructure. And I guess you are also really interested in coming to Germany because, yeah, you know, we are still the leader in the environmental technologies and are able to manage these kind of infrastructures and especially our waste. Talking about the waste, why it's worth to come to Germany, we have a really long history in setting up waste management systems. Nowadays, we are talking about circular economy, but we already started like with framework conditions and like in really strong infrastructure back in the 1970s, so more than 50 years ago now. And during that time, we also changed from a linear economy or like waste management systems where things were brought to landfills towards circular economy. And yeah, on this slide, by the way, we can also share the slides later if there's any need for the information. Yeah, on this way, in these 50 years, we had implemented a lot of regulations, and I just marked the milestones we had in our legislations, and they helped to actually make it possible to implement these kind of infrastructures. I also have to be honest, and I guess you are aware we are an industrialized country and we are producing a lot of waste. So not a good thing, but at least our amounts of waste are stable about the last 10 years. But the good thing is, yeah, if you look around in Germany, everything is quite clean and look really organized. So we are able to handle these kind of waste streams and amounts of waste. Here's just a little overview about typical compositions. Oh, yeah. I don't see the next slides, but I know what's coming next. So our composition of municipal solid waste is probably comparable to yours. We still have also a lot of organics in the waste stream, which are collected separated and treated separated. Paper is separated, treated, also packaging, and also what else do we have, like metals and glass. So yeah, like the composition is comparable, but yeah, we have a lot of separation and then treatment processes for these kind of waste streams. You also know we are kind of the world leaders in recycling, and this slide is just showing our different kind of waste streams, or like, let's say, where the waste is coming from. So MSW we have, but we also have, of course, waste from extraction and mineral resources, but also construction and demolition waste, or yeah, other production waste streams. And the graph on the right side, or let's say to the left, the highest amount of waste we also have in the waste of the construction and demolition waste. It's about 50% of our entire waste stream. So it's a really high percentage. But on the other hand, on the right side, you can see the recycling quotas. And for instance, for construction and demolition waste, we have about or almost 90% of recycling, but also in the MSW waste stream, we have yeah, roughly 70% of recycling. So with these kind of numbers, yeah, we are leading and the systems behind are working. That is just an overview, which is still valid because it's 10 years now old, but yeah, we are leading in the EU, and the EU, of course, has the advantage that there are regulations in place supporting these developments. That's also, I just want to give you some examples to get a better understanding why the systems are working. So we have a lot of adapted systems to each kind of waste stream. That is what you can see on the right side, actually. For instance, we have for PET bottles deposit systems, where you can generate a really clear stream of PET bottles, and you can easily regenerate high quality recyclates. Also food grade recyclates, what you can use for PET bottles again. So that is, as an example, one system. Another one, of course, is steel packaging. So you have a lot of aluminum cans or tin cans, and yeah, it's also used within a system. We also have a lot of steel from, for instance, from cars, and they are all feeding a system and get recycled, and we have steel production, as you know. And another one is also quite common. That's the glass recycling system, where we have also about 90% of recycling rates in Germany. Yeah, you also know we have a lot of beer in Germany, so the beer needs to be bottled in glass bottles. But we have yeah, specific collection points for the glass, where we also have the separation again into colors, sorting systems, and production. Yeah, as you know, so there was just some examples where the systems are working and the technology is around, and what it needs basically to generate these kind of closed loops is yeah, a holistic approach, what we reunify under our rooftop of RETEC, but also within Germany, and also what you can see at the IFAT. So for waste management, of course, there need to be legal frameworks in place. There is a lot of knowledge transfer, but also you need management capabilities, but also like the technical line from collection over logistics, segregation, treatment processes, recycling processes, and at the end, a market to put in the products you generate. Yeah, and that is something we learned to combine and to match in Germany, and also to adapt processes and systems and technology. Yeah, that is how the infrastructure behind looks basically in Germany. We have, of course, we are also quite densely populated, and we have also quite dense infrastructure with facilities. So on the left side, you can see, for instance, some sorting plants, also shredders or dismantling facilities. In the middle, yeah, you have a network of the fermentation plants, and on the right side, there's waste to energy or RDF power plants. And that is also something I should mention before, because when I was in Brazil, we had quite often the discussion that there's the thought actually that there's no waste to energy in Germany around anymore, but that's not true. Because we need it. So there will always be a little amount feed into the waste to energy facilities. Of course, we try to recycle as much as possible, so not like an energy recovery or recycling and material recovery. But yeah, we have also grown in the history. We have some waste to energy plants, and they are still running. It's not growing anymore, but they are existing, and they are part of the basically infrastructure, and they also make the infrastructure more economical. Yeah, in total, we have more than 10,000 companies working in the sector in Germany. Also, this number was a little bit decreasing, but it's not because we don't have any waste anymore. It's more like the big companies are integrating the smaller ones. So yeah, they become one company. And in total, there are more than 315,000 people working in the sector. So I think these are also important numbers to understand that this kind of sector is basically a chance on the market itself and can generate some value. As you can see on this slide, I think it was 2024, so 2 years ago, we had more than 105 billion as a revenue. So that is something, yeah, we learn how to make it possible to generate. I mean, of course, infrastructure in the first place is expensive to implement, but if it's done right, yeah, it is affordable, and of course, it's also necessary. And on the right side, this slide is also quite interesting, and I wanted to share because I know that Brazilians are also quite aware of sustainability things and discussions. The COP30 was just recently. Brazil is also a growing market, and of course, within growing economy, there will be waste produced and probably more waste, but we generated the numbers that actually the GDP does not necessarily need to be connected to the amount of waste. So there's kind of a decoupling process, which is a good thing because it's, of course, more sustainable if the economy can grow without producing more and more waste. So, and now also just about our role a little bit. Yeah, basically the numbers you saw and the impressions, that is something we combine under our rooftop, and we were founded as an export network actually to transfer the knowledge and technology. And since 5 years now, we are working as a strategic partner of our environmental ministry. How we work is, yeah, to make waste management and circular economy work, you have to combine business, science, and the politics. And that's what we combine on the German side, but also where we are getting connected in the international markets. That's also just a short overview about our advisory board. So we are connected to 4 ministries in Germany in total, but also important institutions, for instance, GTAI, Germany Trade and Invest, or KfW or GIZ. I think you know these institutions. That's an overview about our members. And yeah, that is also just something I would to put in because Germany has a lot of SMEs. It could be challenging when we talk about waste management, because as you remember, we have the long value chain which needs to be connected, and like every SME is most specified in one part of the chain. But that is also something we do underneath the retake rooftop to combine these companies. Sometimes, of course, or quite often, they already work together, but it's also about creating symbiosis. Yeah, and that is something we can do within the retake association, and then cover basically the whole part. Yeah, also our international, or no, our national work, network, and international one. Yeah, we are also working together with Abrema, because they are a part of the International Solid Waste Association, as we are as well. What we do, I think I don't have to mention too much. Basically, we try to build the bridge between Germany and foreign countries, doing a lot of events, knowledge exchange, capacity building, and supporting programs from our ministry, like the one we are talking today, the market entry program, where you have the chance to travel to Germany. Also, yeah, just in short overview, why Brazil is interesting for us, and also that we are quite aware of the market. Last year, we did the project on the road to COP, also supported by Abrema, where we had a lot of local exchange during the IFAT in Brazil, but also we participated in the German-Brazilian business days, the Waste Expo 2 years ago, the Green Summit in Rio, had a lot of local stakeholder meetings. Yeah, and last year was also another business delegation trip from Germans to Brazil. So we are quite aware of the markets, of the challenges, but we already started to find solutions. And yeah, in quite in exchange with our members, because there are, I think, great chances to get connected. Now, yeah, I think we can, Anna, continue with the information, right? Already.
You can keep it.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, I hope it was not too fast, but we are available for questions and can, of course, also share the slides. Yeah, now talking about, in German, it's Informationsreise Brasilien, so basically information trip of Brazilians to the IFAT in Munich this year. We are talking about, I have to count, I think it's like 5 days or 6 days in total, if we count Sunday. So from 3rd of May to, which is Sunday, from to Friday, 8th of May, a trip mainly to the IFAT, but also to do things around. Yeah, and the big advantage is if you would join, I mean, IFAT is really well known, and basically the whole world is coming to Munich to see the latest innovations. And yeah, everyone will be there. Yeah, also the whole of Germany will be there. So yeah, that's always a great opportunity to go and to meet and greet and to find solutions. And what we thought is that we would have, so I just summarized the schedule a little bit with the highlights. An arrival on Sunday. IFAT starts on Monday. Then we would, yeah, start with an information program in the morning on Monday to present the sector a little bit, also to integrate our members already. And then what we can also offer that you, if we know your needs, find your matches, I would say. We would do tours around the IFAT, so to guide you basically regarding your needs to providers, technological providers, also partners, to meet them, to get into exchange. Since IFAT is quite big, we plan to have this for 2 days, also with different kind of scopes. We would also arrange B2Bs, of course, always depending on your needs and interests. that is planned for Tuesday as well, also for Wednesday. Furthermore, we will align the program with other workshops on panel discussions. So we as RETEC are also organizing on the IFAT Orange Stage panel discussions. Actually, we had a really good one last year with Abrema together at the IFAT Brazil. So that is also something in Germany we do, and always like to introduce and also implement somehow speakers from foreign countries. So we would just try to put you a little bit more into an active program. And on Thursday and Friday we would actually do some site visits. And then on Friday later this afternoon you can fly back to Brazil. Site visits I have on the next slide. 2 we have already confirmed. So I know that organic waste treatment is quite a thing in Brazil. Brazil has a lot of agriculture, but a lot of food waste also. Tourists producing food waste in hotels or like at markets and stuff like this, or supermarkets. So therefore, of course, it's always good to see composting facilities and biogas production plants, and we can visit on the 7th, which is Thursday, Wurzer Umwelt. They have both composting and biogas treatment plants, which is just a nice opportunity to see this in practical action. And on Friday, we would visit the Abfallwirtschaftsbetrieb München, so the Municipal Solid Waste Management Company for Munich, to have a discussion there. That's also a really important point, or like visit, because the management of the infrastructure is the key at the end, and they have a lot of experience to share. Also, Munich is one of our bigger cities in Germany, so they know how to handle a lot of waste. And then we have one site visit still open, but we have some ideas, and that is also a little bit depending on what you want to see. We were thinking about seeing a manufacturing site, if that would be interesting, because at IFAT you just see the devices somehow itself, so you don't see how it's going to be produced. Or what is also around at Munich, it's also interesting also for Brazil, paper recycling and production could be also interesting. So there are some more options, but we wanted to wait a little bit to make it more, or like fit better for you and your purposes and needs. But that is what we thought. And I think, and the accommodation, I can continue with this. But never mind, that would be like the program. There's still room for adaptation. So but there would be the unique chance that you can visit facilities you can't if you would be on your own, or have the special B2B meetings. And we can help you to catalyze things and find the right matching partners and companies at IFAT, and also the companies are just related to RETEC. They're way more, so we can reach out and support you or like organize your trip. And then the challenge is always a little bit to find a place to stay in Munich during IFAT, because it's Luisa is she knows it. No, it's going to be expensive, and the hotels are quite booked already, but we did a reservation for rooms, so we would have already rooms. It's quite an easy hotel, so not really fancy, but it's really affordable with 180 euros per night, including breakfast. So you wouldn't have to take care about this too. That would be already done. But we can also offer other hotels, but there you have to take care for yourself, and they would be more expensive, but it is something we would like to offer to keep it as cheap as possible, because these kind of prices are exploding quite fast, or are already exploded. Yeah, and that's basically it from my side.
Thank you very
I
much,
hope
Bea.
everyone was able to follow.
Yeah, I think so. And we will share also your presentation afterwards with everybody. Yeah, I'm switching to Portuguese again. Para só fazendo mais um. Ai, deixa eu só mudar a minha tela. Uma observação adicional ao que a Bea apresentou também em relação à missão é que toda a missão é coberta, todos os custos de participação, entradas na feira, elas são cobertas pelo Ministério alemão. Então, não existe nenhum custo de participação para quem queira participar. Os únicos custos cobertos pelo participante é a passagem aérea e a acomodação, que ela mencionou, né, que a gente já tem uma acomodação sugerida, que a gente já tem reservado por essa questão de ser bastante difícil de conseguir os hotéis na época da feira, mas os únicos custos que os participantes têm são de acomodação e voos, né? E, obviamente, qualquer custo pessoal que envolva, por exemplo, alimentação, alguma coisa desse tipo, mas os custos de participação na missão toda, eles são gratuitos, inclusive os ingressos para a feira. Então, as visitas técnicas, tudo isso está incluso no programa, porque é um programa fomentado pelo Ministério. Bom, seguindo com a nossa programação, agora nós vamos ter uma apresentação especificamente sobre a IFAT, que é a principal feira mundial para tecnologias ambientais. A Luísa Vieira, que é coordenadora de feiras da IFAT Trade Fairs Abroad, vai trazer uma visão geral do evento e das oportunidades. Seja bem-vinda, Luísa.
Muito obrigada, Ana Beatriz. Partilhar minha tela. Se vocês puderem dar um ok quando estiverem vendo.
Estou vendo já.
Opa. Agora eu estou vendo também. Bom, primeiro, bom dia a todos. Muito obrigada, Ana. Obrigada a Raca Rio pelo convite de estar aqui apresentando a IFAT e o Munique. Como a Ana já falou, eu organizo, na verdade, as IFATs ao redor do mundo, no caso, fora da Alemanha. Organizei a IFAT Brasil também, juntamente com a Beatriz Teca. E hoje eu vou estar podendo aqui falar um pouco sobre a IFAT Munique, que esse ano está completando 60 anos de história e é a feira líder mundial também para soluções em água, reciclagem e circularidade. Na última IFAT, em 2024, nós contamos com a presença de mais de 3.200 expositores em uma área de 300 mil metros quadrados. Os expositores ocuparam não só os nossos 18 pavilhões, mas também grande parte da área externa. E esses expositores receberam 142 mil visitantes de 171 países e regiões. Desses visitantes também, 80% estão envolvidos diretamente na tomada de decisões dessas empresas, mostrando que em Munique o grande espectro das tecnologias ambientais se encontra em um só lugar. A feira é dividida em 3 setores principais: o setor de recursos e circularidade, verdinho, de água e de reciclagem. E esses setores, por sua vez, são subdivididos em tópicos, em temas focos de cada área, realmente abrangendo esse escopo total das tecnologias ambientais. Na área de água, nós temos, por exemplo, temas como digitalização, o transporte e tratamento de esgoto, uma gestão hídrica sustentável e energicamente eficiente, entre outros. E na parte foco de hoje, no foco de gestão de resíduos sólidos e reciclagem, nós temos temas também como controle de poluição do ar, a gestão do fluxo de materiais, a parte de logística e mobilidade no âmbito municipal, digitalização também, e uma área de destaque, inclusive, para o hidrogênio na economia circular. Aqui a gente pode ver a planta da IFAT Munique pela entrada, não é principal, mas assim, a entrada mais comum, a oeste, nós temos acesso aos pavilhões, principalmente voltados ao setor de água, esgoto, saneamento e circularidade, e pela entrada leste, nós temos aqui a nossa grande área externa, e os pavilhões voltados mais para a área de gestão de resíduos sólidos e reciclagem. Enriquecer a visita à IFAT, nós oferecemos diversos formatos como palcos para apresentação, nós temos palcos voltados para os 3 principais setores, um palco com foco justamente no tema hidrogênio, no Orange Stage, como a Beatriz já falou na apresentação dela, vamos contar com a presença de grandes painéis e discussões, rodas redondas com a Munique e com outros experts da indústria. Nós oferecemos também áreas de destaque que vão estar espalhadas ao longo da feira, cobrindo temas como a circularidade têxtil, temas como é a gestão hídrica da cidade do futuro. Temos apresentações ao vivo, que eu recomendo bastante, do maquinário para gestão de resíduos sólidos, para reciclagem aqui na área externa, é bem interessante. E nós oferecemos também vários tours guiados pela feira, para realmente oferecer todo esse escopo e todas as informações possíveis aos visitantes da feira. A participação por uma delegação complementaria a participação aí de Munique, ainda mais porque assim dá para, nesse âmbito, com tantas tecnologias sustentáveis, com tantos expositores para visitar e ver, realmente ter uma visita mais focada e mais interessante para vocês. Eu vou compartilhar essa apresentação com a equipe da Raká, vou deixar também meu contato e o contato da Pietra Tusch, que é minha colega na equipe da IFAT Munique, em caso de perguntas, fico à disposição e espero poder vê-los de 4 a 7 de maio em Munique. Muito obrigada.
Muito obrigada, Luísa, pela apresentação. Bom, a gente chegou agora no momento de perguntas e respostas. Caso alguém tenha alguma pergunta, eu estou vendo que o Marcelo Ramos perguntou sobre se a gente vai ter soluções para reciclagem de painéis fotovoltaicos na feira. Acredito que a gente consiga encontrar. Não sei se você tem diretamente essa informação, Luísa, ou se a gente consegue encontrar essa informação em algum lugar.
Sobre essa específica, não, mas eu
Uhum.
tenho quase certeza. Eu só confirmaria com a minha colega e passaria essa informação para vocês também.
Tá ótimo, muito obrigada. A gente pode compartilhar essa informação, sim, depois. Alguém mais tem alguma pergunta? É, deixa eu ver aqui. Bom, quanto aos conteúdos e seminários, no próprio site da feira, existem esses conteúdos. Eu posso também compartilhar com vocês depois da nossa, quando a gente finalizar nosso webinar, eu vou mandar todas as informações para vocês. Eu vou compartilhar com vocês um QR Code para que vocês possam entrar em contato diretamente com a gente. E só um minutinho. Esse QR Code que está na tela é o meu contato e da Beatriz Teca. Vocês podem entrar em contato com a gente diretamente, tanto para mais informações sobre como se inscreve, quais são os detalhes da missão. Isso tudo a gente consegue passar para vocês diretamente pelo e-mail, tá bom? De qualquer forma, eu gostaria de agradecer a todos pela participação e pelo interesse ao longo do nosso webinar e também participar da missão. Esperamos que esse encontro tenha sido contribuído para ampliar também o entendimento de vocês sobre o mercado alemão de resíduos e para esclarecer um pouco sobre a própria feira. O convite Obviamente, a gente reforça para que vocês manifestem o interesse de vocês em participar da missão por meio do QR Code. A gente está 100% à disposição para falar com todo mundo. Vamos ter muito prazer em conversar individualmente com todo mundo e avaliar as possibilidades de participação. E em nome da HK Rio, eu agradeço mais uma vez a presença de todos, especialmente das nossas palestrantes, Beatriz Teca e Luísa Vieira, pelas excelentes contribuições, e desejo a todos uma ótima semana, restante de semana. Espero encontrá-los na IFAT em Munique.
Obrigada.